Take a good, hard look at this guy. You probably know him as the Monopoly Man or Rich Uncle Pennybags. But hold on, something's off. Can you spot it? Now, be honest. Be real with me here. Is he missing something? Go ahead, trust your instincts. If your brain is screaming, yes, his monocle, then you're one of millions who remember something that simply never existed. And this isn't just a quirky mistake, it's the Mandela effect. And what it suggests about your mind and reality itself is more shocking than you think. This whole phenomenon gets its name from maybe the most jarring example of all. Back in 2009, a paranormal researcher named Fiona Broom was at a conference when she realized she wasn't alone in remembering Nelson Mandela dying in a South African prison back in the 1980s. Thousands of people remembered it. They recalled news clips, interviews, even a speech from his widow. The only problem, none of it ever happened. Nelson Mandela was released from prison in 1990, went on to become president of South Africa, and lived all the way until 2013. So what's going on? How can so many of us have the exact same, very specific, and very wrong memory? Today, we're going to look at the most famous examples of the Mandela effect that will have you second-guessing your own past. Then we'll dive into the two major schools of thought, the psychological reasons that expose the fascinating flaws in our memory, and the much, much weirder theories involving parallel universes and glitches in the Matrix. All right, let's start with the trip to your childhood bookshelf. You remember those classic books about a family of bears, right? What was their name? If you, like countless others, clearly remember reading the Berenstain Bears, you might want to sit down for this. The name has always been the Berenstain Bears. For many, this is the one that feels undeniably wrong. People swear they saw that E with their own eyes, but every single copy, from the first prints to today, says Stain. This is probably the most famous example, and the debate is so huge it's sometimes just called the Berenstain Bears effect. Those who believe in alternate realities argue that physical proof, like old books, would just change to match our current timeline, making the original memory impossible to prove. Next up, let's go to a galaxy far, far away. It's one of the most iconic lines in movie history. After a huge battle, Darth Vader drops a bombshell on a defeated Luke Skywalker. You know the line, "Luke, I am your father." Don't you? Nope. The actual line is, "No, I am your father." That's it. He never says Luke's name in that sentence. And yet, the Luke version is so burned into our culture that even James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader himself, has misquoted it. This is a perfect example of how a mistake can become more famous than the real thing, getting repeated in parodies in pop culture until it completely overwrites the original memory for almost everyone. How about logos? Quick, picture the Fruit of the Loom logo. You've got the apples, the grapes, the leaves, but what about the cornucopia? That classic horn-shaped basket holding all the fruit? It feels like it should be there, right? It was never there, not once. In the company's entire history, the logo has never had a cornucopia. People claim they learned the word cornucopia from this logo, but all the evidence shows it's a total fabrication of our collective mind. Let's talk Pokemon. Think about the face of the franchise. Pikachu. Cute, yellow, electric. But what color is the tip of his tail? If you have a crystal clear memory of a black tip on that lightning bolt tail, you're not alone. But you're also wrong. Pikachu's tail is and has always been solid yellow. The best guess here is that people are mixing it up with another Pokemon, Pichu, who does have a black tail, or maybe a specific version called Cosplay Pikachu, who sometimes has a black heart-shaped mark there. But the OG Pikachu, pure yellow. One last one. Is it Jif peanut butter or Jiffy? A lot of people are absolutely convinced they grew up eating Jiffy. They can hear the jingle, see the jar, picture the name on the label, but there has never been a peanut butter brand called Jiffy. It's always been just Jif. This one might be a mix-up with the brand Skippy, or maybe the phrase in a jiffy. But for those who remember it, the name Jiffy feels as real as the jar in their pantry. So what is happening? Is our memory just unreliable? Well, according to psychologists, yes. And it's a lot more common and complex than you might imagine. The leading scientific take on the Mandela effect isn't a glitch in reality, but a series of totally normal glitches in our brains. First up is a concept called confabulation. Your memory doesn't work like a video recorder, capturing every detail perfectly. It's more like a Wikipedia page that's constantly being edited. When there are gaps in a memory, our brain just fills in the blanks with details that make sense. It's not lying, it's an unconscious process to make a memory feel complete. You truly believe the fabricated part is real. This ties right into schema theory. Our brains build mental shortcuts, or schemas, based on what we expect from the world. For example, our schema for a rich, old-school cartoon character probably includes a top hat, a suit, and a monocle. So when we think back to the Monopoly Man, our brain might just add the monocle because it fits the stereotype, even if we never actually saw one. We remember the general idea of who he is, and our brain helpfully fills in the rest. And then there's the huge influence of suggestibility and social reinforcement. Once a mistake is out in the wild, it can spread like crazy, especially online. If you read a forum where hundreds of people confidently say the Berenstain Bears was spelled with an E, it can plant a seed of doubt in your own mind. Hearing the wrong "Luke, I am your father" in a dozen parodies reinforces the fake memory until it feels more authentic than the truth. It's like a worldwide game of telephone where the message just keeps getting more wrong, and we all believe it. A study on the visual Mandela effect at the University of Chicago even confirmed how consistent these errors are. When researchers asked people to draw famous characters and logos from memory, they made the same mistakes again and again, giving the Monopoly Man a monocle or Pikachu a black-tipped tail. This proves these aren't just random slip-ups. They're shared, specific false memories created by the same quirks in our thinking. Okay, we've covered the biggest examples and the scientific deep dive. Before we get into the really wild stuff, I have to ask, which of these examples messed with your head the most? For me, it was definitely the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia. I can still picture it. Let me know which one got you in the comments. And if you're enjoying this trip into the mysteries of the mind, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming next. But what if it isn't that simple? What if the answer isn't just in our heads, but in the fabric of reality itself? This is where the theories get speculative, mind-bending, and for a lot of people, way more fun. The most popular fringe theory is that the Mandela effect is proof of parallel universes. Pulling from ideas in quantum physics, this theory suggests there are endless alternate realities, each one a little different from ours. In one reality, maybe Nelson Mandela did die in prison. In another, maybe those books really were called the Berenstein Bears. The idea is that we are somehow shifting between these timelines, or that they're merging, and some of us are left with residual memories from a reality that's no longer ours. People who lean into this theory say it's the only way to explain why so many unrelated people share the exact same false memory. It's not a memory error, they argue. It's a real memory from a reality that used to be theirs. Another big one is the simulation theory. This is the idea that our reality is just a super advanced computer simulation, like in the Matrix. If that's true, the Mandela effect could just be bugs in the system. Maybe it's a little stretched. But what about the modern scientific version of parallel universes? What if this simulation theory is actually closer to the truth? The theory is that the Mandela effect could be caused by tiny changes when the simulation gets an update or a patch. Some of the old code isn't perfectly overwritten, and these tiny changes, a logo here, a movie line there, are the digital scraps left behind. They're the software bugs of our universe. Of course, I have to be clear, there is zero scientific evidence for either of these theories. They are unfalsifiable, which means you can't prove them right or wrong, so they really belong in the realm of fun speculation and sci-fi. But for anyone whose own memories feel too vivid to be just a brain hiccup, these ideas offer a pretty cool, if unproven, alternative. So, where does that leave us? We're left with a choice between two very different explanations. Is the Mandela effect just a powerful demonstration of how flawed, suggestible, and surprisingly creative our memory can be? A testament to our brain's nonstop effort to make sense of everything? Or is it a crack in the surface of reality, a whisper from a parallel universe, a glitch in the simulation that proves nothing is quite as solid as we think? Psychology gives us a logical, evidence-based answer for these shared false memories. But that feeling of being certain is a powerful thing. When you can close your eyes and genuinely see the cornucopia on that Fruit of the Loom tag, it's tough to just accept it was never there. Ultimately, the Mandela effect is an incredible reminder of one thing. Our perception of reality is exactly that, a perception. It's filtered through the messy, complicated, and beautifully imperfect hardware of the human brain. So I'll turn it back to you. After hearing both sides, what do you think is really causing the Mandela effect? A glitch in our brain or a glitch in reality? Let me know your full theory in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the strange corners of our world. Thanks for watching.